will want us to go back to the basis again and to inform Nigerians why this is really important.
Yes.
What role do the local councils, the local government areas play? I was watching television a few days ago and I was so disheartened.
Yes.
With a state in the north, I think Borno State, one local government in Borno State, I've forgotten the name, they are crying for no primary health care center at all.
Yeah.
None.
Yes.
And I could relate because I'm like, okay, these people are on television. I know that there are many communities like that in Nigeria that do not have health centers.
Yes.
Like if a woman wants to put to bed,
yes.
just like a midwife, to find a midwife there, no hospital. And you see that number of deaths in those communities increase, you know, and all of that. That is even for health. How about for other amenities? So what is the role? What are local councils supposed to provide?
Okay. Section 7 of the Constitution, of the 1999 Constitution as amended, has provided long list of the functions of the local government and their obligations, from primary health care, road construction, naming of streets, and all of that. So the basic things that the everyday person needs, this Section 7 of the Constitution has clearly defined that, of the roles that the local government should do. And that is why all we need to do now that resources has gone there, the local government chairmen have no reason henceforth that will have wards without any form of government presence. I've just said it, that we have wards in Nigeria that there is nothing that you can see that is government, which means no primary health care, nothing government. So we need to make sure that we get past that. And even if there is, they are dilapidated from primary schools to primary health care institutions. People, unfortunately, in Nigeria, the practice of open defecation is still there. And that shows to you the level of misery that you find there.
Because they're supposed to construct and maintain drainages, other public highways, even motor parks, even burial grounds, collection of
taxes. You are now reading section 7 of the Constitution.
You know, I needed to ask that question so that people will understand, because sometimes we're always caught in the middle of saying the center, Tinubu, or whoever the president is, or even the governor, whoever that governor is. But what are the functions of the local government councils in Nigeria? That was why I actually asked that question. Even markets.
It's all under that. And that is why markets, except the one jointly constructed by the state government or the local government, all markets are under the local government. So the local government really, as anticipated by Section 7.
Registration of birth and deaths. All of that.
All of that. All of that. That is why if you are talking about naming of streets, addresses, the central addressing system and all of that, it's still the local government. So the local government, they are at the center of development. And if democracy is to win, we must make sure that the local government's powers and the things that they need to do, we need to support the local government succeed. And that is why, like I also emphasize, while we are happy, is that we now have power and resources devolves to about 774 local government. Previously in Nigeria, there are two blocks of power, the federal government and the state government. If FG wants to do something, if he can, once the president gets the 36 governors in a room and they decide, that's it. But now, not anymore. We have another group of power block, the 774 local government. Do you have to invite them to the party for it to work?
Now, how should the issue of joint accounts be handled? Because the state and local government have joint accounts even before this ruling came up. So how should those joint accounts should be closed?
Supreme Court justices didn't mince words with what needs to be done. The local government money should go directly to them.
So that means new accounts should be opened?
whichever way, the federal minister or the coordinating minister of the economy knows what to do.
And the Attorney General.
Yes, and they'll get the money to individual local governments straight.
When do we begin to see this judgment being implemented?
Immediately. Because
how do we now know it's been implemented? How? Because the Supreme Court has spoken.
Yes.
When do we begin to see implementation? Because there will be a FAQ. We're in what month now? We're in July.
Yes.
Aha. There will be a meeting soon,
yes.
if they haven't even done one,
yes.
to share
yes.
the money.
Yeah.
So I know I'm asking that question.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be immediate.
Immediate.
Because no money, the Supreme Court has at Thursday, since the announcement, it's over. Because they've spoken, it's the final court of the land, and there's nowhere to go for any redress again. So what remains now is enforcement. And that is why governors that are yet, there are a number of things that need to be done quickly. Number one, governors that the 21 states that need to conduct elections should do it immediately. The second one is the public procurement aspect. The public procurement law needs to be domesticated because the public procurement law at state level also covers the local government. And if we want to deal with public procurement fraud, deal with issues of public procurement malfeasance, which we know that even federal government is struggling with that. When you come to state government, it's a little bit more trickier and even more cumbersome. The local governments will be worst. So therefore, that law, as many states that have not domesticated it, we need to domesticate that law immediately so that the local governments, as these resources come, there's a law that guides their public procurements immediately. Local
governments are allocated 20.6%
yes.
of FAC.
Yeah.
Does this, now because of this ruling, does this now, does this add to the fact that perhaps more should be given to local government, bearing in mind that during Buhari's administration,
yes.
I think it was Boss Mustafa, or was it the Minister of Finance at that time, they were also actually mulling that more money should be given to the local government, where I think the federal government should have about 48% from the 52 that it has now,
yes.
to more percentages to both states and local government. Do you think that this judgment now gives us a stronger call for that? From about 20.6%, the states are receiving, I think, about 26.7% or so, while the federal government is 52%.
Okay, my answer to that is that the local government, or any proponents of that, we should be more cautious. Why do I say we should be more cautious? Let the local government chairman now, and they should listen very well, make sure that the monies coming to them are managed well first.
Before we start conversing.
Very good. So once Nigerians begin to see that within the next 24 months or even 12 months, because of this change, that they are seeing boreholes, their roads are being repaired, markets are being fixed, small culverts are being constructed by local government chairmen, the primary health care is being reached, education is touched. People at the grassroots begin to see this. That's the true dividend of democracy. And at that point, the argument of increasing what should come to them becomes easier.
Okay. Let me go back to what the chairman of NGF said, Abdurrahman Abdurazak.
Yes.
He said that what the local government have to do is to manage themselves, especially with the upcoming minimum wage.
Yes.
Because they also pay salaries.
Yes.
Which is a very important dimension.
Yes.
But there was another part which he mentioned, which was quite interesting too. They have to manage their affairs and make sure salaries are paid,
yes.
and traditional rulers get their 5%. This according to the Vanguard.
Yeah.
Because now the role of the traditional rulers, because they're supposed to get 5%. He said these are the main issues.
Whatever it is, charity begins from at home. Like I said, I commend the NGF for taking this position and then respecting the Supreme Court judgment. Let's worry about how the myriads of problems, let's worry less about the myriads of problems that they have that local government should tackle. The idea is that if prudently, the quantum of resources from federal allocation to the 10% IGR and other revenues that they would drive. If those funds are used properly, certainly local government should be able to afford the minimum wage. I have no doubt about it. Certainly local government should be able to do basic things that affect the people. Certainly local government should also be able to take care of the traditional institutions.
Okay. 2 more questions before we go, because it seems that we've looked at the various dimensions. I think we've done pretty well with this interview in terms of looking at the various dimensions.
Yes.
The first question is, will this enhance citizen engagement and participatory governance? For people, many Nigerians do not know who their local government chairman or chairpersons are. For me now, I will really be interested in knowing who that person is.
Yes.
From my local government, you'll be hearing your name here every day,
yes.
you know, and some others. That's one. Then number 2, with what we're seeing now, with what we're going to see, do you think that the political environment will change a bit in terms of if Nigerians begin to see good governance at the local government level?
Yes.
Those local government chairpersons or whatever will want to also aspire to bigger offices, as it were. So do you think it would also help the political recruitment? If I'm a fantastic local government chairperson, the onus, or I would be proud to say, oh, I did well in my local government area. This is my credentials. I can do well as a state governor. So do you think it would also help in the political leadership recruitment process in terms of perhaps ascension?
Yes.
I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Yes.
I think one of the reasons why people had misgivings about the third tier of government is that we knew that they were being emasculated by the state. Now that resources will get there, so best and competent people will take interest in local government governance. That's one. Number 2, because there is no immunity at that tier of government, what will happen is that the EFCC, the ICPC, the INFIU
will sweep in.
Yes, you will see more accountability regime emerging at that tier of government, much more than you even find at state level. Because one of the challenges you have with states is that you have to just wait for 8 years or 4 years. You understand?
Yes.
But for the local governments, law enforcement now, they have huge opportunity to do the best they can. And then in closing.
Yes, citizenship, citizen engagement or participatory governance.
Yes, citizen engagement and participatory government also will be more enhanced because you now have the grassroots that you know these people are closer to you, and the system can be better held accountable than it were previously. And as the institute also, we are all in the mix. We intend to help the local government build their capacity as far as revenue management is concerned, the public procurement process is concerned, and also anything to do with their budgeting process, so that there is transparency and accountability in the third tier of government.
That's a lot of work, 774 local councils, a lot of work. But I'm really excited with this judgment, and let's see how that goes. Thank you very much, Dr. Gashinbaki.
Thank you for having me.
For being on the program. I've been speaking with Dr. Ilyasu Gashinbaki, who is the President, Chairman, Governing Council, Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. We've been looking at LG's financial autonomy. We should all be optimistic, and for you watching, you should now be interested in who is your local government chairperson and not caretaker committee.